Being a teenager in 1984 might look like a lot of fun in the sun and cute girls on the beach, but let's be real, it had its fair share of challenges too. Sure, you didn't have to worry about your cell phone battery dying, but you also didn't have games like Candy Crush to distract you from the existential dread of becoming a social outcast. Television and magazines were having a profound effect on an adolescent's self-image, and fashion trends were just constantly evolving, making it more and more difficult to fit in. Fortunately, when peer pressure and bullying could get just a little bit too intense, you could always get lost in the cinema. Some of our favorite films came out in '84, like The Last Starfighter, Beverly Hills Cop, The Terminator, and The Never-Ending Story. Indiana Jones explored the Temple of Doom. Plus, movies like The Nightmare on Elm Street, Gremlins, and Ghostbusters had audiences' hair standing on end. There were even a few bangers meant to appeal to teenagers, like Footloose, 16 Candles, and The Karate Kid.
This is it. This is the end of the line. Tell him that.
For Daniel LaRusso,
Is this the only food you guys got?
the future seemed far from terrific. Then, in one man, he found a teacher.
I promise teach karate lesson about the balance, not just karate lesson for whole life. Concentrate, focus, power. Remember balance, no mercy.
Columbia Pictures presents The Karate Kid.
In this video, we'll revisit the original adventures of Daniel LaRusso and explore the impact that the Coca-Cola company had on The Karate Kid. Oh, but before we begin, Mr. Miyagi wants you to wax on that like button and consider subscribing to Retro Spectrum so you don't miss a single video. So, here's the thing you need to know about the 80s. This decade experienced quite a bit of conflict. Now, while we don't have time to explore the Cold War or America's war on drugs, we should take a moment to reflect on a particularly bitter rivalry. The Cola Wars were a high-stake marketing battle between Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola in order to win over the hearts and taste buds of America, especially teenagers. The branding was so bold and flashy and aimed squarely at youth culture. However, the battle wasn't just about taste. It became a test of loyalty. Were you a Coke person or a Pepsi person?
The struggle between these two refreshment giants was even bigger than the beef with Macho and the Cobra Kai.
Coke had been the #1 cola since 1886, but now, 100 years later, Pepsi was giving them a real run for their money. In 1984, the Pepsi Company started a brand new marketing campaign celebrating their cola as the choice of a new generation. The goal was to position Pepsi as the cool, modern, youthful alternative to Coca-Cola, utilizing slick commercial ads that looked more like stylish music videos you'd expect to see on MTV. That year, superstar Michael Jackson signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Pepsi as part of this new marketing campaign. The King of Pop helped propel Pepsi's cool, youthful image into the stratosphere. It was a huge problem for Coca-Cola, and the company knew it. Behind the scenes, the soda giant even made plans to change their iconic formula for the following year. Something that would become one of the most infamous marketing missteps in history.
Ironically, it's on these shelves that Pepsi has overtaken Coke in sales. Coca-Cola denies that's the reason for the change. Many who sampled the new product found the new Coke decidedly sweeter than the old one. Coke says it will still have fewer calories than Pepsi.
Fortunately, New Coke wasn't the only thing the company had been working on. Coca-Cola had purchased Columbia Pictures in the early 80s for the sum of $750 million. While it was an interesting decision for a soft drink company to buy a film studio, it did offer Coke a unique strategic advantage beyond just diversifying the brand. Owning a movie studio gave Coca-Cola a valuable foothold in Hollywood. Movies and television gave them a new way to reach consumers, especially younger audiences. Coca-Cola saw media ownership as a way to surpass Pepsi's growing popularity by controlling both the ads and the content. Coca-Cola would tie its marketing directly to entertainment properties with cross-promotional campaigns and product placement.
Hey boys, don't forget to include a plug for this week's sponsor. We already agreed that they would have a spot in this video.
Well, that's where you and I see things just a little bit differently. I will not bow to any sponsors.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's really just the nature of the beast.
Maybe we're wrong on this one, but for us, the beast doesn't include selling out. Jason, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people just do things because they get paid. You know? That's just really sad. The Karate Kid was one of the first films produced under Coke's oversight. The underdog story follows Daniel LaRusso after he and his mother moved to California's beautiful San Fernando Valley. Along the way, he encounters some bullies, practicing an aggressive form of martial arts at Cobra Kai. With the help of Mr. Miyagi, Daniel's son learns patience. He learns discipline, but he also learns karate. It's worth noting that martial arts had already seen a huge boom during the 1970s, thanks to films like Enter the Dragon. Originally, Hollywood legend Clint Eastwood had discussed directing the film. By 1982, Eastwood had already directed several films and seemed eager to adapt the Karate Kid screenplay. However, he did have one caveat.
You gotta ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky?
Clint agreed to direct for Columbia only if his son Kyle could play the lead. When the film studio refused, well, Eastwood might have taken it a little personal. Supposedly, Clint imposed a ban on all Coca-Cola products from his future films.
Eventually, John G. Avildsen, the director of Rocky, was brought in to direct The Karate Kid. Avildsen brought a similar underdog spirit and emotional depth to the film, blending sports, mentorship, and personal growth in a way that connected with audiences at the time.
Pretty good, huh?
Ralph Macchio was brought in to play the part of Daniel LaRusso, and Pat Morita took the role of the legendary Mr. Miyagi.
Everyone needs a martial arts master in their lives.
Fortunately for you and I, we have three: Tony Marquez, Carlos Pacina, and Master Daniel Pacina.
Hey, martial art master Daniel Pacina. You know me as the original Johnny Cage. Oh man, I love Karate Kid.
Karate Kid really did a pretty good job of representing martial arts at the time.
Great, because it pushed up all the martial arts. You know, people got more interested in it again.
Martial arts schools that were present at the time was all of a sudden everything was Karate Kid. Karate Kid this. Even Kung Fu schools were doing Karate Kid. The headbands going and everything like that, which was cool at the time because it's all about marketing. You know, if you're going to keep a school open, got to have marketing. Otherwise, they're going to close your doors.
But in terms of what karate and point fighting was like, you know, it was a movie, but that was a pretty good representation in Karate Kid.
If I chose Miyagi or Cobra Kai, I'd have to go with Miyagi. Cobra Kai is more of a mainstream martial arts, which they have not evolved yet into the higher martial art spirit or philosophy.
Cobra Kai is more the militaristic, you know, churn out, you know, not that Shaolin Temple doesn't churn out warriors, but this is more like a military style.
Really, I would choose Miyagi-Do. But there's so much of my personality that would fit into Cobra Kai. I would bring that Cobra Kai energy to Miyagi-Do, and that's what I would do.
Everybody who starts martial arts wants to fight. So to get to that point where you don't want to fight anymore might take, 5, 6, 7 years. Remember, at peace doesn't mean you will not beat somebody's butt. At peace means you're balanced and you're all right and don't push me to the edge and everything's cool. Because when you get pushed to the edge, even Miyagi showed you, you got to take it.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, look.
You beginner luck.
With Columbia Pictures under the control of the Coca-Cola Company, there was quite a bit of pressure to include its products on screen. With that in mind, I popped in my VHS copy of Karate Kid and paid particularly close attention to any kind of product placement. And along the way, I noticed several things I had not noticed in previous viewings. For example, remember Daniel-san's incredible Halloween costume? Well, just a few scenes earlier, when the Karate Kid could be seen talking to Mr. Miyagi while sipping on a cool, refreshing can of Sprite, you may notice some of the items hanging in the background.
I don't have a costume anyway.
If have costume, you go?
Yeah, maybe if I wanted the Invisible Man.
Invisible Man?
All of the ingredients for Danny's shower costume can be seen in Mr. Miyagi's workspace.
Hey, there's Daniel. Where? The shower. How do you know? I just know.
Now, the most obvious example of product placement in The Karate Kid can be found at breakfast when Daniel is hiding his black eye.
Well, come on with the baby browns.
Are you on something?
Yeah, I'm on Minute Maid. Why are you hiding your eye?
Minute Maid has been around since 1946 and gained notoriety for being the first frozen concentrated orange juice. The company was acquired by Coca-Cola as part of their first product line outside of soft drinks. By 1984, the variety of Minute Maid products had grown exponentially since the 40s and contributed to the overall success of the brand.
Despite Coca-Cola's influence on the production of The Karate Kid, there didn't wind up being all that much product placement compared to the films of today. Obviously, The Karate Kid wound up being hugely successful. Miyagi-Do beat out Police Academy and wound up being the 5th highest grossing film of 1984. Oh, and it wasn't just a commercial success. The film made a strong connection with teenage audiences, leaving a lasting impact on popular culture. Joe Esposito's You're the Best and Cruel Summer by Bananarama became two of the most essential tracks of the decade. You may also remember the iconic crane kick and the phrase,
Wax on, wax off.
The unexpected success of Karate Kid was a nice little boost for Columbia Pictures, as well as the Coca-Cola Company. It was a turbulent time for the soft drink, what with the failure of New Coke, but they did see a resurgence of enthusiasm for Coca-Cola Classic.
Oh yeah, I stopped drinking. I don't like the new Coke. I stopped drinking Coke altogether.
Well, it was on the way home and it's only 10 cents. I used to the old Coke. I don't like the new Coke, not very much.
By the late 80s, Coke was starting to recognize that Hollywood may have been a little outside their wheelhouse. Film production was unpredictable, expensive, and culturally very different from consumer goods. In 1989, Coca-Cola sold Columbia Pictures to Sony, choosing to end their media experiment in order to focus on what they do best, selling delicious beverages. Today, Coca-Cola remains one of the world's most valuable brands and maintains a product line that includes soft drinks, coffee, tea, bottled water, and absolutely no film studio. Karate Kid is still widely appreciated and has spawned sequels, spin-offs, video games, and even an extremely popular series on Netflix. Now, before I go, I'd like to encourage each of you, if you're headed to the theaters to see Karate Kid Legends, stop by the concession stand first and order a large Coke, Sprite, or even Minute Maid before heading into the theater. It might be a fun way to pay respects to one of the most iconic films of the 1980s, and one of the most iconic film studios. Oh, and by the way, how many of you are excited for a new film in the Karate Kid series? And which do you prefer, Coca-Cola or Pepsi? Let us know in the comments section below. Let's take a moment to thank our friends Anthony Marquez, Carlos Pacina, Daniel Pacina, as well as our buddy Jason for helping us out with this video. If you want to see more videos from That Weekend Warrior, be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. See you next time.